Let's talk about the weird and wonderful and fascinating crocodile icefish. So, crocodile icefish are actually a decently large group comprised of many different species of icefish or white bloodfish that are found very low down in the Indian and Atlantic Oceans, normally quite close to Antarctica. They are very cold water adapted fishes and have probably the most interesting blood adaptation that any fish or animal has that I've come across. Crocodile icefish are the only known vertebrate to have absolutely no hemoglobin in their blood at all. So hemoglobin is the protein found in the blood that binds and carries oxygen. It's how oxygen is transported throughout your body. It also does a number of other things, but the oxygen transport is pretty much the main thing that hemoglobin does. And these guys don't have that. They're also pretty much entirely lacking red blood cells as well, which does make sense because red blood cells is what contains the hemoglobin. Now, some species do have very small and deformed and non-functional red blood cells left, but those are mostly vestigial because they don't have any actual function because, again, they don't even have hemoglobin. Now, since red blood cells and hemoglobin are part of what makes your blood, you guessed it, red, they do not have red blood cells or hemoglobin, so their blood is not in fact red. It is white-ish, clear-ish, which is what gives them the name the white bloodfish, because there is no hemoglobin, there is no red, so their skin is pretty much transparent, and so is their blood. So this, however, presents a problem of how the fuck do they move oxygen around, because you still need oxygen to perform all of your bodily functions, so what do they do instead? Since there is no hemoglobin or other proteins available to carry the oxygen, that means that all of the oxygen used by the crocodile icefish must be dissolved in plasma. Plasma is the liquid part of blood that kind of holds and suspends everything else. It holds the white blood cells and red blood cells and all of the macronutrients and everything and allows it to be transported. And instead of being grabbed and taken by red blood cells, the oxygen is just swept along in the plasma and dissolves into tissues as needed. Crocodile icefish also have a very, very ridiculously slow metabolism, which helps with conserving oxygen, and they also have a very large veins. Their skin is capable of absorbing oxygen from the water, such as in amphibians, but it doesn't do a whole lot, just supplements the heart output a little bit. Icefish also do just have more blood. They have a higher volume of blood as compared to other fish, and their cardiac output is more than other fish as well. All of these factors combine to make it possible for these weird little fish to survive without hemoglobin and red blood cells. Now, genetic studies do show that crocodile icefish used to have hemoglobin and red blood cells at some point of their evolutionary history. Like I said before, some species do still have residual red blood cells that don't really do anything, and genetic studies do show that they still have the genes responsible for coding to make hemoglobin, or at least fragments of those genes. They are non-functional, meaning you can't just flip a genetic switch and start making hemoglobin again. But they do have the genetic residue, I guess, of genes that make hemoglobin, so it does show that they, at the very least, used to be capable of making hemoglobin. Additionally, crocodile icefish, like many other Arctic and Antarctic fish, have special proteins that function as antifreeze. Now, as far as I'm aware, this isn't the same type of antifreeze as, like, the chemical antifreeze that humans use for a bunch of different industrial purposes. It is a specific protein that is biologically produced to help the blood not freeze, and it is not the same as, like, the very toxic chemical that humans have synthesized to, like, prevent water and things from freezing. This is a specific protein that helps the blood just keep moving instead of solidifying. So all in all, crocodile icefish, all species of them, have just probably the weirdest blood in any vertebrate species ever. And I think that's great for them. I love that for them.